for you. Have you ever asked yourself, why do onions make you cry? Well, I never did either until God gave me this illustration, so check me out. Did you know that onions create this chemical irritant called syntheous oxide? So what happens is that when you are cutting an onions or chopping it up or whatever it is you're doing to the onion, this chemical reaction happens and the irritant within the oxide releases and it makes the glands within your eyes start to water and voila, you have tears. So why did God bring that to my mind? I don't remember exactly what crisis I was going through. I feel like I'm going through like a little emotional crisis every other month. But whatever one I was going to, I remember that it was along the basis of our process. I know that I talked to you guys about trusting the process a couple videos ago. So this is just another hinge of it, but from a different perspective that I feel like God is trying to sort of get to somebody on. So we can ultimately agree that when you apply pressure to an onion, it begins to release this irritant. Not only that, we realize that when you begin to unravel an onion, there's a chemical reaction that is produced, which directly affects the person who is either who is unraveling the onion. So with that, I saw God basically comparing us to that onion. And I'm like, I don't know, God. If I wanted to be compared to something, I'd rather be compared to like a peach or something like that. You feel me? Like, or like a strawberry. You know, something scrumptious, not an onion. But that's neither here or there. As far as this onion, God was showing me the different layers that we have to ourselves, the different scales, which is what you would call the layers of an onion, the scales, the outer body. We have these different layers to ourselves that are undealt with. We have different scales and things that are holding good and bad, but a lot of the things are bad. It's holding emotional trauma, it's holding offense, it's holding sticky situations, hurtful situations, bitterness, whatever the case may be. And what happens is that when pressure is applied to us and we begin to become unraveled by either people, God himself, or even ourselves, when we start to sort of get in the grooves of all of those different things that is within our makeup, we start to react. We start to chemically respond to it, emotionally respond to it, even spiritually respond to it. As we become unraveled, that reaction can, in a physical way and also in an emotional way, bring tears to our eyes. It's not pleasant. We understand that. Everybody, I'm pretty sure there are plenty of people who have cut an onion before. You realize that it's not pleasant. You have to cut it up. You have to unravel it. You have to get to the core of it, to the bulb of the onion. But obviously, it's not as pleasant. You know, you coughing, you nose running. Okay, your eyes are watering. So it's not the prettiest of sight, but it is necessary. And God just showed me as this onion, not a strawberry like I want it to be, but God showed me as this onion being unraveled and how the process wasn't pretty, how it didn't look cute. My nose is my nose is running, my eyes is watering and whatnot. But there is something that is happening inside. There is an irritant. There is a chemical, some type of biological oxide that is within us that is being released that God wants to be able to deal with. Okay, so that spiritual, emotional, all those different things that's going on inside of you, God is trying to break up and make sense of. But a lot of times we want to just be kept whole. We want to be kept whole and stay within a shelf, within a secluded area with our own problems. But what happens when you leave onions in the bag in a shady area for too long? They begin to mold. They begin to rot because they're not being put to use. The pressure that is necessary for them to be productive is not being applied. So I went not even just I want. I believe that God wants us to be encouraged with the process and the unraveling of ourselves. Not just the process that He's putting us through, but reminding us that there is a lot of stuff that we need to deal with as we are going through the journey, because there is stuff that we don't want to touch. We want to come to Jesus, but we don't want to touch our past hurts. We don't want to touch our insecurities. We don't want to touch the the sticky things that are gonna bring shame to our family or probably embarrass us ourselves. And God is saying there's so much more to you and to your make than what you're trying to keep all up inside of this bulb. Okay, yes, there's going to be a reaction that's happening. There's going to be a spiritual transformation, emotional one, a physical one, but it is all for the working of the good, of your good. Okay, it is all for the benefit of the kingdom. It is all going to work out, and we are to be encouraged during the midst of it, even though it doesn't make sense. Because in the end, you're going to be edible. In the end, you're going to be tossed on some nice little steak or something like that. Okay, you're gonna be sauteed up, and you're gonna be made great use of as an onion that stood the test of trials. Okay, so I know that that's weird. I know y'all saying really with this whole onion thing, but I'm telling you, listen, that's the illustration that God gave me. If you want onion, be an onion. Don't be like me trying to be a peach or a nectarine or a strawberry or a watermelon, or you get what I'm trying to say. Be an onion, okay? Allow um allow the pressure from either God, who's sending you, different tests and trials, or from the world, which is necessary sometimes to build up our character and to further place our trust in God. Allow that pressure to be applied so that we can get to the next transition state that God really wants us to be in. There's going to be a process. There's going to be a chemical change, a emotional change, a spiritual change that's going on within us. Okay, irritants are going to be released. Okay, chemicals are going to be released. Okay, different amino acids and oxides and different things like that are going to be released. Okay, and it's going to have some sort of effect on us, but it's not the end. Okay, and we are not defeated. We're not forsaken nor forgotten, and God continues to love us whatever state that we are in, but He wants us to gradually move on to the next one. So listen, be an onion, okay, and don't forget to know who you are outside of being an onion, because I know who I am.